What I have been working on recently is DALL-E, these large language model produced images. And I have ended up in medicine being ahead of other people on this. And I had, you might say, well, you just mean in terms of timing, right? No, I think I mean beyond timing because like I don't have it here. This is just a very straight prompt, but I often start with, award winning, and I have the word happy in there and so on. So I'm sort of biasing the image toward being happy and upbeat and particularly beautiful as art.
Mhm.
And so, and applying that to a lot of things that are not naturally beautiful at all. If you think about kidney pathology, or just the kidney, it's an internal organ. Why does it need to be beautiful? It does, right?
Mhm.
But if you
Mhm.
put that into the prompt, then you end up with very beautiful kidney images beyond what anyone ever, imagined. So let me show you just some of them. Like these are kidney histology images in a sense. I mean, that's what the prompt is, but they're much more beautiful than any real kidney image would ever be.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and so then looking at this idea here of AGI utopia, acute, artificial general intelligence utopia in general or in medicine. There are very few people talking about that, not as a predicted possibility, but even as something that could happen. There's
Mhm.
hardly anybody talking about that. So I'm really in a fairly rarefied area where there's very little competition. Not only is no one doing what I'm doing, no one is trying to do what I'm doing, as far as I can tell, because
Mhm.
they think the big story about AI safety is that AI is going to kill us all and nobody's doing anything about it. Period. Right?
Mhm.
And nothing else worth talking about. And so we have um, now probably the largest collection of DALL-E images with searches on individual people in the medicine field, where you put their name in and some other information about them, and maybe some things about artificial intelligence and our artificial general intelligence, the technological singularity, so on. You put a bunch of those things together and then you generate images.
Mhm.
And then trying to see if you can, by doing that, um, end up with sort of hints about what the artificial general intelligence future will look like. And actually, I'm not sure that that happens very often. It probably does a little bit, little tiny hints. But what happens much more is you get ideas you would not otherwise have had that increase your creativity several fold. And I think most people believe that creativity is important in generating new technologies, new ideas, moving humanity forward. So now we're starting to want to write about this. and it's very hard. You can see how it's sort of nebulous. It's unbounded, right? Usually you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about something where you have a limited data set and you talk about that. Here you could generate potentially, thousands or hundreds of thousands of images. It's 4 images every 10 seconds. So and it's very cheap. It's not hard to pay for this. So what I have recently concluded is I want to establish priority that I got here first, but I also want to write a high quality paper, right? Those two things are in conflict with each other because
Really?
getting a good paper completed and accepted by a high quality journal is going to take a while. But if you establish priority with sort of other media like videos and websites showing progress and that sort of thing that are not really in conflict with the paper that you're writing, just kind of expand it. Then you end up with both things. You have proof that you're ahead of everybody else, and you can take the time to do a really good paper or papers in one of the best journals. Yeah, so that's what I'm currently doing. And like this image behind me, I always try to find an excuse to talk about this. So
Mm-hmm.
one of Leonard Cohen's songs and poems is called Boogie Street. It's a real street in Singapore. He spells it differently
Mm-hmm.
than the actual street. But talking about a traffic jam as something you might enjoy being in, I'm wanted in the traffic jam. They're saving me a seat. I'm what I am, and what I am is back on Boogie Street. And I think this image kind of shows you that. You can imagine these are the cars all jammed up in the traffic jam. But in between the cars is open roadway where you could get out of your car and dance in the street and sort of have a party, right? And enjoy the traffic jam. Yeah. So somehow I think that there are lessons to be learned from what I'm trying to do and the experiences that I'm having.